we started to think about, okay, well, what's our long-term strategy for our technology stack, or probably the better term for it is a technology ecosystem, right? So I sat down and I developed a strategy that is led by integrations. So having the best platforms, the best tools for our use cases, and getting them to talk to each other. That was our core theme for our foundations, for the foundations of our use of technology. So we started to, really just look in the market for all of the different tools that would meet our business workflow and would and our use cases. And last year was a complete end-to-end transformation of our business from a digital perspective. We threw out a bunch of old tools. We implemented Salesforce, we implemented Qwilr, we implemented SharePoint. They all talk to each other, which is surprisingly rare. But that's what we did, and Qwilr was a big part of that journey, and has been a really good way to showcase not just how innovative we are to our customers, but also to our staff as well. They get a really good feeling when they're using Qwilr. It's so simple, so intuitive. So I guess that for us, that really sums up our journey.
That's awesome, mate. You are a brave man to implement Salesforce and multiple other things at the same time. Let's dive in. I mean, I think you've got a really great sort of example doc to sort of talk us through, but sort of set the table for where those documents were, sort of when you arrived, and what you were sort of trying to achieve here. Yeah,
sure. I'll show everyone what the journey was, and then I'll take through what it's become. And this is what we had, right? We had a really simple, just Word document that for every new client, every new proposal, we were just copying, pasting this Word document into the file, and then going through changing the items. And especially if you go down here to this table, and once you start to change a table in Word document, and especially if you're a lawyer who isn't technically technically mature in a sense, it starts to get really frustrating, right? So this was the process we had, that we were then sending to our customers, right? So we were sending this document to our customers. We would get them to say, yes, we would love to go with option A for this price point, and then we would send them another contract to sign. So we were sending them 2 documents, waiting days in between for them to action on their end, as is their right, and getting back a signed version of a proposal document that that wasn't really adding any additional value to us or to the customer. So the core themes that I was looking at when we looked at this process and we reviewed this process is, firstly, how can we make it easier to generate a document for our lawyers? And secondly, how can we make that experience for the customer a lot better, right? Obviously, we all know the different products out there, the DocuSigns, the Adobe Signs, those were part of our evaluation. And what we do at Law Squared is we take a use case based evaluation process. So we don't start with a piece of technology and we try and fit it in. We start with a particular use case or a series of use cases, and we're trying to find a piece of tech that solves for that. So what we did was we looked around, and what I realized is that these DocuSign, Panda Docs, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on the recorded webcast, but
you can. I mean, you made the right choice, buddy. You can say whichever names you want.
It was really just presenting in a web page, in a web page HTML5, a Word document, right? So they're called Word docs these days, but it was really leveraging the functionality of websites, HTML5, CSS, and web pages, but not really making the most of that functionality, which is my opinion. So I had thought about, okay, surely there is a platform out there that allows me to generate, microsites and pitch sites that we can then use to um, send out proposals. So that's exactly what we went into the market looking for, and Qwilr was what we found. And I'll share our experience now for our lawyers. So let me share my screen. This is our Salesforce instance. What I might do is I'll actually share what the customer sees first. So we've gone from that Word document, and now we get this. So it's dynamic, responsive. The customer can go in and they can select, what pricing option they want, and just hit accept. Simple as that. So many benefits have come out of this. I mean, I brought up this to share in preparation for this, but look, I mean, we get a quick little notification when someone's opened our Qwilr. That tells us that the customer's engaged with us. There's plenty of analytics that sit beside this as well. Like what we noticed is that a lot of our customers were accepting this from a mobile device. So the document is completely mobile responsive. They go in, they accept it from there, and we can actually see how long they spend reading it, right? So, we can see the type of customers that don't spend a lot of time reading it. What that tells us is that maybe this document isn't an important piece of the sales cycle. Maybe all of the conversations that we've had before that is what's important and what's converting the customer. We see customers who pass this document around. So similar to Charlie's use case, they're sharing it with their CFO, CEO for approval. They're then sharing it with procurement and so forth. And we understand, like, okay, well, these are the type of customers that need a bit more meat in these type of documents, and this document is more influential as part of that sales cycle. So this is the experience for our customers, and from the lawyer perspective, creating it is really easy. This is what I've created here, but this is our Salesforce CRM. All the data has already been put in, and all you need to do is just hit create new in Qwilr, select the template. There you go. That's created the page. It's already populated all of the client details in here as well. So all of this is already pre-populated from the data in Salesforce. So to that piece I mentioned earlier about having the best systems and getting them to talk to each other, we didn't want to have data being passed around and re-entered into different systems. So that's what we were able to do with Qwilr. So now it's a really quick, simple process. There's no more fiddling around with tables and word formatting and stuff for our lawyers. They can go in, change all of the pricing. They can even add from a list of saved items on here as well. And yeah, it's completely intuitive, and we are I guess marketed as one of Australia's most innovative law firms. Using a Word document and sending customers PDFs to sign wasn't good enough for me if that's what we were going out to market with.